So let me discuss with you guys some of the reasons for failures in this industry, right? Number one, clinician-based and not sales-based. You can talk about and have this good game of talk that's saying that we have the quality nurses, we have the best caregivers. Who cares right now if you can't even bring patients to prove that to me? Everyone's out there is saying they have quality nurses. Everyone out there, they said they have trained caregivers. Everyone's using that same spiel, but can you prove it by taking care of real patients? You can't use the excuse of saying, well, give me a patient and I'm going to prove it to you. No. You need to be able to go out there and learn to sell your products. We have to stop this whole thing of, if I build it, it will come. You must be able to go out there and grab these referrals. Not in a violent way, but I'm saying you need to sell out there. You need to be good at sales and make that determination. It's sales first, patient thinking, take care of it with your clinical aspects. A lot of people out there are not willing to put in the work. I talk to marketers and I ask, how many people do you visit in a day to be able to, dig in? How many people do you prospect every day? And they'll say, I visit maybe 3 or 4 people. What's that going to do? Your pipeline's not big enough. When I was out there in the field, I would try to go after 20, 25 people within an 8-hour period. I have 24 hours just like you do. The best people out there are the ones who are willing to put in the work. Then you have companies that are not willing to invest. Invest in the structure of the company, bring in the right software, going paperless, so it's a lot easier to be able to take care of the clients, provide training for their nurses, their therapists, or caregivers. And the worst thing yet is they don't even want to provide training for their marketers and their salespeople. They'll hire somebody that says, yes, I have experience in sales. And guess what? If you have experience in sales, why are you not selling for another company right now? The fact that you don't have a job right now or you're looking makes me think about that. They're not willing to invest, not willing to train, not willing to actually sit down with the team and create strategies. Another big failure that I see a lot in this industry, and this is not a joke, is when you hire your friends and family. I have nothing wrong by having a joint venture for a company with a loved one, with a sibling, with a mother, with a father. I've done that. But there has to be rules that creates that when it comes to business, business is business and family is family. If you're not doing your job, you need to either give it to someone else, find ways to improve it, or get out of the company. And I see this a lot in these industry where we hire a family member and then because they need a job or auntie called you and said that Jacob needs a job, can you please hire him? And you hire him or her and then all of a sudden they can't produce and then you can't fire them. And you're wasting your money on Jacob or Janet or you're wasting it on Tina or Marcus or whatever name you want to be able to add to that. You must be willing to fire someone in order to be able to make sure that you create success. Because the faster you fire someone who's not producing, the faster you can replace that person to make sure they produce so you don't have to worry about that particular part of the company. Another failure is that we try to do what other people do. How can we really follow another company and do what they're doing if we don't even know if it's successful or not? They may look successful, but that doesn't mean they are successful. So if we're going to create programs, create services, if we're going to market certain ways, if we're going to do certain things, we have to make sure that can we actually measure it? That doesn't mean you don't try it, but you need to measure it. And before you try it, research it and know how to be able to handle and use it. Part of that of doing what others do, the wrong things other people do, is listening to the wrong advice. I'll give you an example. Is that I have this marketer that I trained, and he's such an amazing person. Instant learner, fast learner. Within 1 year, he was averaging 5 a month referrals, and then all of a sudden he was reaching 20 to 30 a month. average. And then all of a sudden, the company he was working for paid him for what he deserved, and I felt that he should get paid more than what he was getting paid. And then they brought in a new DON who talked a good game, saying she can do this, she can do that, she can do this. And they let go of this guy that I trained because they felt that they can do better, when they weren't doing any better than how he was doing it, because he did tremendous for that company. He was making that company $1 million a year just by himself with his referrals. And still, they weren't taking all the referrals he was bringing in because they didn't accept every single insurance. So he could have made them more money, but they just chose not to. Now, here's the funny part. I'm not sharing names here. I'm not sharing you guys where it's located at. But I'm just saying, here's the wrong advice. So they hire a DON. The DON says, I have all these connections. And they got rid of 2 of their marketers right away that were doing good because this person promised that she had connections. And she just started with the company. How do they know? They did not measure it. If they were going to make that move, now mind you, I'm in the business move as well. If I was in that situation and somebody came in, I may do that decision. But first, hey, show me first. Prove to me that you can get these accounts. We're listening to the wrong advice sometimes. And we need to understand that before we make any decisions on any advice we have, can we measure that? Small agencies will never survive, guys. If you stay small, you will not survive. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I'm going to share it with you guys because it's important that you guys know this. And paying attention to our industry is such an important thing. Okay, I have this one series that I did called the Art of War series, where I actually read this book called The Art of War. And it's one of the most amazing books ever about strategies in war. But actually, a lot of high-profile business people and successful people out there read this book because you can actually apply it into business and in life as well. So if you don't pay attention to people that are trying to get into your area of business and people that you're competing against, paying attention to your own staff, paying attention to the potential clients and referrals out there, you're going to lose. You have to